It doesn't. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Anything goes, Q&A, pose your questions for yourself, clients, family, friends, whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Marianne.
Hey,
Hey.
Mary.
I wanted, in a recent class, there was a discussion about ears. And I have an appointment tomorrow with my ear doctor. And I'm having an awful, well, it's a problem. And I'm not sure how much is my ears or my hearing aids. But
Right.
I have a lot of wax that builds. And they don't seem to be able to answer my questions as to what causes that. It's a very sticky substance.
Yeah.
And it does interfere with my hearing, and I have to keep going to have wax removed. And I'm wondering, do you have any suggestion as to what causes that?
I
And
don't.
you
Yeah,
don't.
no, like, I mean, the earwax it's a protective mechanism to like protect the ear and, keep things out like water and things like that. One of the old school things they do, it doesn't really stop the production of the earwax, but this is like a really super old school thing to do, is like you would put a drop of olive oil in each ear, every day, and it kind of loosens up that wax. I mean, the wax is still being produced, but it makes it easier to kind of manage. You just do it consistently for a while. I did it for a little bit, many years ago, probably a couple of decades ago, and it made it easier to clean them out, like when you would use things like a Q-tip or something, like right on the edge of it. But one of the ways that I used to manage it for myself, sorry, our lawn guy seems to think it's the perfect time to do our lawn. Is I would do the ear cones, have somebody like cone your ears, and there's
Oh,
real big ones that you can use to pull the wax out. And because I was having a wax problem there for a little bit, it does clear it up. But my best bet, like my best guess, is like allergies, like an
yeah.
allergic kind of mechanisms would make sense. It produces mucus in the nose. It makes sense that the same kind of response would produce the wax in the ears.
Okay.
And at the time, I was having really bad allergy problems. And then when I calmed down the allergies, the wax issue diminished. And, the allergies wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm having like hay fever or something. It was a little bit of respiratory dysfunction, and I was producing a lot of mucus. And when I did all that, it calmed it down. And so I would say almost treat it like an allergy response.
Oh,
Allergies don't always manifest the way we would think. And so we can have allergies and really not even be that aware of it.
right.
And so, it always comes back down to, using something like quercetin. Are you using quercetin or vitamin C at all?
I
Or
haven't, no.
I would,
Maybe I
it's not
should
going to
order
stop.
some. I do need to reorder some oil, so.
Yeah, well, we don't have quercetin. Quercetin we can provide you a link like on Amazon to,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So the thing is it won't clear up what's there, but it should slow down the production of it afterwards. Like, so if you get it kind of cleaned up, like the ears, and you start using a lot of quercetin. At the time, what I used was I used quercetin. Like I was taking 3 capsules 3 times a day.
3
And,
times. Okay.
yeah. I considered myself in an allergy crisis of sorts at the time. So I did that. I did cordyceps, and I did 1,000 milligrams of deodorized garlic.
I'm
And-
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
She's asking what
yeah.
you said.
So I did 3 capsules of quercetin 3 times a day. I did 3,000 milligrams of cordyceps, and then 1,000 milligrams, which is usually 2 capsules of deodorized garlic. And I'd say within 30 days, it was pretty significantly different.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that you need to do the cordyceps, but definitely I would do the quercetin.
And I can get you the link. I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. There,
And
there is an essential oil of garlic, but we don't even sell it. It's so strong. Like it would just, you would just reek of garlic. Even like if you just took a couple drops internally, it would just come out your pores. Like, so I always go for the deodorized garlic that you get from, the health food store, from Amazon, because you can take it and you might taste a little bit in your mouth, but you won't smell like Italian food for,
okay.
for months.
And the other thing, someone mentioned foot care, and I'm a diabetic, and
Mhm.
with my failing eyesight, I was trimming my toenails blind practically, and finally did get someone to come in to cut them appropriately.
Oh, good.
But my feet are a mess because they weren't being cut properly. And so someone had mentioned, you mentioned an oil for fungus.
So is it fungus, or is it things are cut up and you have like open wounds? Like what's happening?
Well, they started to, my toes were close together, and the way they were cut, it was cutting into the skin next to the opposite, the toe opposite. And they thought there was a bit of fungal starting. That was their opinion. Their solution was to soak my feet after the treatment in cider vinegar.
Okay. Not a bad idea.
Um,
The fungus is on the skin, or is it making the nail hard and?
well, I think it was making the nail thick, and yeah.
Yeah, so anytime you have like issues with the nail being impacted by fungus, you want to use oils that have a lot of menthol in them. So peppermint, corn mint are your 2 best choices.
Oh, okay.
You'll put a little bit just directly, but I like to mix it with like a little bit of like massage oil or jojoba, or even like a little bit of Vaseline to make it
Okay.
linger there a little bit, and it will keep breaking down the fungus. Like the really, again, going back to old school ways of doing it, was to get a little jar of Vicks Vapor Rub and rub
Oh,
on the thing, because it's already mixed in the petroleum jelly, and
okay.
it's not an essential
So
oil.
mix the peppermint with Vicks.
No, it's already got the menthol in it. Like I would, because it's the menthol
Oh.
that does it. It's a synthetic form of menthol, but it's still menthol. I mean, for this application, it's fine. It's just sometimes how they make menthol is they they fragment corn mint and then make menthol from that, but most times it's made synthetically.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of it, but for this application, it does work. Like it's just synthetic menthol. It'll break it down. It takes a little while. You got to do it daily, even a couple of times a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Thank you. I'll try both. That's a good
but
idea.
you don't have any open wounds on your feet.
There was on one foot, but it healed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just for FYI, if you do start having open wounds that are not healing on the foot, put helichrysum on them daily.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I did try that when I noticed it and it went away. So I'm assuming the
yeah, yeah,
helioprism worked.
perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Good to hear from you, Marion.
Well, it's very good to be here. I can't tell you. Life has been very interesting, and it's been a time of great loss and change, but it's also a time of great opportunity and new beginnings. I mean, I feel like there's been so much change that I'm basically starting all over. Um, it's a new way of thinking. I'm trying to develop a sense of humor when it's not so pleasant. Um, but it's been a really interesting time, both spiritually and on every level. And I just feel, since I've come to be a part of these teachings, that I'm just having experiences that I would never have believed possible.
Good, I'm
And I'm
glad.
very, very grateful. It's difficult a time as it's been. I have an equal amount of gratitude. It's
Good.
it's been hard to even verbalize to myself, but I feel it's all okay. It's all good.
Well, if you're having extra hard times or something, you let us know, okay? Even if it's not anything to do with oils and stuff like that, you let us know.
Well, it's just so many changes in my life and
Yeah.
on so many levels. And
How are you dealing with the change? I'm just curious. You doing okay, or is it difficult?
I'm doing okay. And I feel my spiritual life gives me the strength to keep going. Um, there's just been so many surprising opportunities. And it's hard to put words on my experience. But there's something that's invigorating. I'm, curious and want to discover more. Um, it's hard. I don't know how to even describe it. Uh,
Do you have any from like some of the kits from the classes and stuff? Do you have any aloes?
any what?
Aloes?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'd have to look and see what previous classes.
Okay, so we'll figure out what classes you have and where it's at. You probably have some, but this is what I'd like you to do is when you have
What
the
do they
aloes,
include, the aloes?
what's that?
What do the aloes include?
It's a single oil.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
single. So what I'd like you to do when you get it, when we figure out where it's at, and we'll figure it out behind the scenes and reach out to you. But I'd like you to you could think of the situations and then you could let it go. But I'd like you to just take a lot of long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on your Ming Men, which is your low back area opposite the navel. And the reason being that when you're having like so much change happen or having difficulty with change or having a hard time changing a particular thing, aloes is helpful, but aloes directed at the Ming Men itself makes it easier to kind of shift and transition and move through that change. Like it helps with change. It helps with when you're going through like cycles, like, you know, something's good and then it's bad and then it's good and then it's bad, or it's hard and then it's easy, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
And then it will help you to also kind of perceive potential like consequences to things. And so it should help your ability to perceive and make decisions.
Okay. What I'm finding a
And
lot,
somebody just put in privately in the chat that if you don't have it, they're going to sponsor you. So
oh,
we're going to get it out to you. Okay, how
Thank
about
you.
just that instead of
Thank
we
you.
finding it? So to that person, thank you. And yeah.
thank you so much. What I'm also, like, I'm very patient with myself, and sometimes when I don't know which way to turn, I just wait. And the right solution just seems to unfold.
Yes.
As
Yeah. I
long as
mean,
I can step back and get out of my head
yeah,
and wait.
you and
It's
me
so
both.
fascinating. The right thing just bubbles up and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is part of the experience also, that it's pleasant.
You know, I used to have these discussions with Master Choa, and you know, I was always really super hard on myself about that when I would look at some situation that it was usually inaccurate. And, you know, I had to keep refining my perception of a situation. And through a series of conversations, you know, he helped me to realize that's really normal. And so, you know, it's not even just pausing sometimes, but it's like taking in the information rather than, you know, because a lot of times our first response is like to defend a situation or a thought or you know, our effort or our energy level or something like that. And when you just kind of relax and then start observing, the answer usually, like just like you just said, it usually presents itself.
Yeah,
And I think the aloes will help that, but it also I like that you're embracing that part of the process, because that is very normal. Like that is very, very normal. Like
and
I went through a big part of my life where I thought I was always doing something wrong or not perceiving something, or you know, whatever it was. And it really was, it came down to I wasn't giving myself enough time to perceive something before I took action.
and
And even when he explained it to me, it didn't even happen quickly. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then the more I started really thinking about it, and like in those situations, I started to realize, man, he nailed it. Like I'm the one that was really like, you know, not seeing it clearly. Like I wasn't seeing the situation clearly, and I wasn't seeing myself clearly. And you know, I love that you're acknowledging that part. You know, it doesn't mean procrastination. It doesn't mean like not taking action, but you know, when you're dealing with difficult situations, you know, you see it and sometimes you want to take action. But, you know, I used to, when I used to get together with other therapists and stuff, like psychologists and things, I always talk about, you know, there's the thing that needs to happen and the right thing to do. But then there's also the window or the door that needs to open for it to happen. And you might know what needs to happen, but the time might not be right. And there's this
right,
old story of this like Chinese Chinese teacher with a student, and you know, they're talking about healing, and you know, this is back in ancient times, and they see a traveler coming along, and then teacher says, look at this traveler and tell them, you know, what do you see, what do they need? And you know, it was something simple like a pomegranate or something. And the teacher goes, okay, and the student grabs the pomegranate and runs to the traveler and says, like, you know, I was watching you as you were traveling, you're having this difficulty and yada yada yada. Here is a pomegranate, this will help you. And the traveler is like, nope, no thank you. And he's like, no, this will help you, this will help you feel better, this will give you energy and strength. And, he keeps going on. And the traveler's like, nope, not interested. And, they go back and forth 2 or 3 more times. And the traveler is starting to get kind of firm with this kid and goes, no, I don't want it. Leave me alone. Stop it. And the teacher comes walking over, and the teacher starts asking him, so where are you coming from? And why are you traveling? And who are you going to see? And, what's the purpose of the trip? And the guy starts telling him a story about his family and why he's traveling and everything. And then at the end of this guy's explanation, the traveler's explanation, the teacher pulls out a pomegranate and goes, this will help you on your path. And the traveler takes it and he goes, thank you so much. And the traveler walks away, and the student is like beside himself, right? He's like, why did he take the pomegranate from you and didn't take it from me? And the teacher said he needed a pomegranate and time. Like, you need time.
It's what he said, what?
He needed the pomegranate and time. Like, just
Ah,
needed time to kind of process what was being presented to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's always good to take that into account, that at some points you might even know what's going on, but you also might need a little bit of time, or wait for a window, or wait for something to kind of come into play for you to take the next step. It's hard to gauge when, but like, you can kind of feel when you're forcing it and when it feels like, this is the thing for me to do.
that's so true, because if I wait, it wasn't that my initial perception was off, but I didn't have
Right.
the whole thing.
Right.
And if I wait it without judgment or expectations,
Exactly.
it bubbles up.
Perfect.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
So, like I say, there are many good things along with the loss. And it does, in so many ways, feel like a new beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
it is in reality. My life has changed that much.
Wow.
And I'm very grateful, Greg.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
I was just asking Samantha about you a couple of days ago, and wanting to know how you're doing. So just know
Well,
we love
the
you.
best I can with what I got. And
Yeah. And we're going to get a little bottle of aloes out to you, and the person who said they were giving that to you, thank you so much as well.
that I really appreciate the generosity. Thank you. Thank you all.
You're so
I
welcome.
mean, just having this available, I can't tell you how much it means.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then go ahead, Saja, then
Hey,
Christine.
Sajananda.
Hi there. Oh, I just want to say thank you. I just was so happy to see Marianne as well. And I want her to know that, because I know she doesn't read the chat. So I just want to say it out loud. So Marianne, it's great to see you and hear what's happening in your life. So my situation seems so mundane, but I have this toe that I talked
Okay.
about last week and the week before. Anyway, I'm figured out it's probably pretty arthritic because it got broken. And so I ordered from you guys the foot rub or foot massage or foot soak or something like that. Foot soak, I think it is.
Oh, the soothing foot rub?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Something like that. And I was curious what was in it to start with. And I also ordered the Arthrocare because I thought, well, that would probably help as well. And maybe I'm on the right track with both of those.
Yeah, I think those are both very good choices. Arthrocare, any sort of deposits and accumulations in the joint, which with something that's been injured like that, even if it was a long time ago, is going to have accumulations. The soothing foot rub, I kind of like, I've been playing with that for a while, and I'm really happy with what we have going on now. It's I mean, I was happy with the other things too, but so it's actually the essential oil in it is Taget's, which
Uh-huh.
is in the marigold family, very good for inflammation and lymphatic movement in the foot and circulation, but in a way that's like very gentle and soothing. And the thing where we kind of stepped up the game a little bit there was I started putting it in this base of it's, you know, there's sesame oils that are blended, but they each have a maceration, which is like a way to take the herbs and soak them in the sesame oil and then, you know, extract something and then pull the herbs out, and then you have the qualities of the plants in there. So it's like an herbal extract versus an essential oil. And with that, it's Arnica, St. John's wort, and calendula. And calendula and Taget's are in the same family, the same botanical family. And so very good for inflammation, very good for bruising, very good for spasms, very good for like pain, you know, bruising, anything like that, like trauma related things. And so that combination seems to be really good for the feet. And, you know, it's the base oil, like I've just like here in the office, we've just kind of coined it Arnica complex, you know, like on the big jug that I have made, you know, I make it like gallons at a time. And, you know, it's added to a couple of different things. And it should be very soothing. The longer you use it, the better it does for the foot.
Mhm.
And so I would just keep applying it daily. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Because you got the ointment or you got the blend?
I got the ointment,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2 ounces of ointment.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
it's really dark. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't think I've ever seen an essential oil that wasn't blue. It didn't look blue, it just
Right.
brown. And I was
Just
like,
dark. Yeah, yeah.
what's in this? It's making
Yeah,
it
yeah.
dark. So I guess now I know. I don't know which one of those is making it dark, but something is.
Oh, they're all kind of dark. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because you're infusing a lot of herbs into the oil.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so they come out like the St. John's wort actually is almost like a red. But
Uh-huh.
the arnica is like almost like an orangey color, and then the calendula is like kind of a brownish color, like
Okay,
when it's extracted. Yeah,
That's what did it. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Great.
get into several of the ointments now. It's been kind of a new addition, and we even have a thing. We just got it in today where I actually was able to run down an arnica essential oil,
Ah,
and so we're gonna make you know, we have that combination of arnica, St. John's wort, and calendula that is the macerations, you know, the herbal extracts, and then we're going to put the essential oil of arnica, St. John's wort, and calendula in and make this like super strong ointment that is a thing unto itself. But
mhm.
I haven't even taken the arnica out of the box yet. Like we were busy doing stuff all day, but you know, I'll take it out in the morning. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna play with it as we talk.
Oh,
So,
good. It feels
okay.
really good on the feet.
Yeah.
Like I even had like you know, when we were first making it, you know, I always have a weird issue with this shoulder because it was so injured so badly. And I can get most of it unwound, but there's just like a little section that like where the muscles tore, where it gets weird. And I didn't even put essential oils. I just wanted to see what the base oil would do. I put some on there, and I think that was 2 weeks ago. I haven't touched it since. I mean, it's like it feels that good. I was playing with it probably every 3 or 4 days.
Mhm.
But the thing with that combination is it's very good anti-inflammatory, very good for spasms, very good for improving lymphatic function and circulation into the area. And it kind of breaks up any of the like the stickiness in the blood that's like stuck in there, like blood congestion in the area.
Mhm.
And not necessarily deposits, just like a lingering of blood in the area. old stagnant stale blood. And apparently that was my issue, and man, it feels way better.
That's great. Okay. Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. Keep us posted on how that's doing with your toe.
Okay. I
Like treat
will.
treat the whole foot though.
I
Like
am, yeah.
kind of go on the bottom of the foot and kind of rub along where that toe is, and even go up on the shin and the calf.
Okay, all the way up there.
Yeah, I would treat, because a lot of times the issue is manifesting in the toe, and it makes sense. Your toe was broken, there were spasms. That makes sense that it's probably there, but you still kind of want to follow that up, because there it's the tendon, but if you follow the tendon and go up into the shin or the calf, there's the muscle. And sometimes if you unwind the muscle a little bit, it helps to soften up the tendon, and it helps to kind of shift and change the things that are happening down in the toes.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
And go ahead, Christina, then Ralph.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I wanted to second Mary Ann's sentiment about lots of changes and opportunities and just so true, yeah. But
I
very
mean,
exciting.
society's been changing a lot these last like 4 years or so. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but it seems like everything got heavily accelerated with, the COVID and all that, and just everything,
Well, there's the macro changes with the planetary stuff, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of trickled down to our individual lives.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is very
We were just
interesting.
watching that video last night of a big giant solar flares coming off the sun. It's like, no wonder life's been crazy.
So I
Yeah.
have 3 questions, and I'll
Yes,
try
yes.
to see if I can make it short. I had oral surgery a few weeks ago,
Yes.
and you suggested myrrh and
Mhm.
galbanum, which helped a lot.
Mhm.
So thank you very much. And thank you for all your prayers and good wishes. And
Oh, my
hopes.
pleasure.
So that's very nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going back for another extraction in another week or so. Should
Okay.
I continue with the myrrh?
I would continue up until about 24 hours before you go for the extraction. Usually the rule of thumb is like the galbanum and myrrh, you could probably take up till 24 hours. Like if you're using things that had a little bit more of a thinning effect on the blood, I would say 48, even 72 hours before the event, I would stop, just so you don't have any excessive bleeding during the time. You want to minimize the potential for any sort of problem during the procedure. And so a rule of thumb is you just go off everything, for at least 24 hours before. And then as soon as the procedure is done, you just jump right back on. So you'll just really be off like a day or so. And then after that, just get right back on it.
So should I start taking the myrrh now, or because I haven't taken it?
How far away is it?
I think next Monday is the surgery.
Yeah, I would probably take it up until like maybe up until Saturday night, and then Sunday just stop and then do your thing and then jump right back on Tuesday.
Okay, and then Tuesday, I would do it for another 10 days or something like that.
Yeah, about like
Was
that.
the last time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, my partner and I have been doing a lot of physical work
Sure.
around the house,
Mhm.
which we're not used to. We're like, no spring chicken anymore.
I hear you.
And I find that has affected our sleep cycle.
Okay.
So I was wondering if there's any oil that can help. We do really well with like lotion or
Okay.
roller balls, for the
Mhm,
soles of the feet and stuff like that, or sometimes even internal. But is there anything that can help us
Well,
at night?
so tell me, like, are you having a hard time falling asleep? You're having a hard time sleeping deep? Are you waking up and falling back asleep? Are you getting kind of restless at night? Like, tell me what's going on.
Well, for me personally, I have a hard time falling asleep. Like, and then if I can't sleep, then I'll get up and do stuff and then go back to sleep.
Okay.
And sometimes when I sleep, there's certain nights where I'll sleep deep and certain nights I won't. And certain nights I'll dream deep and certain nights I won't. I don't know how his condition is, but in the morning he'll say to me, I didn't sleep well last night. That was just his comment.
So for him, like, do you have some like spikenard or something like that?
Yes.
I would give him spikenard. I would give him like 2 or 3 drops internally. I would like either rub some on his feet or put it on his back as like an ointment. And I think that would be pretty rock solid for him. I think he's just, how like sometimes you're pushing and doing something. Sometimes it's just hard for the body to relax after that. Like it has a hard time like shifting out of that. And the spikenard should do that for him. And if you wanted to augment it with something, even a little lavender, like, some lavender on a solar plexus or mid back or something like that, because the lavender would be relaxing. But one of the things that it does is it reduces like kind of nervous tension and some of the body tension. And sometimes when you're pushing really hard to get like something done physically, like the nervous system gets kind of wound up for you to do it. And then when you're done, the nervous system is like, yeah, we're just going to stay here and just keep doing this. And it's just a way to kind of like calm it down. I think he just needs to like be able to like calm it down for a little bit. For you, it looks like it's a little bit more like kind of popping, like strengthening or toning the parasympathetic activity or popping you into a more parasympathetic state. And so marjoram, tarragon, anise, lemongrass, I would just, use some maybe a half hour before you go to bed. And then as you lay in bed, you could put it on the joints, like in a roller ball or a lotion, or I would actually do them both myself. And I'd take long, slow, deep breaths, like 25 or 30 inhalations as you're laying there. And even there, if you're not feeling sleepy enough, I would do even more. Like I would just keep pushing it. All of those are going to be very fortifying to parasympathetic activity. And you just look like you've lost a little tone in the parasympathetic thing. It could be because of the surgeries and stuff you're going through. Like that could do it. I mean, it could be all kinds of things. I mean, honestly, a bad night's sleep can take some tone out of parasympathetic activity. So even if you're having a little bit of insomnia or something, that can be an issue as well. And so just kind of tone that up, a couple drops of tarragon internally in water or lemongrass, and then, or marjoram, and then inhale it, put it on the joints. For you, I kind of like also putting it on the low back area.
I've been having low back pain.
Yeah, like something
because
about
of
your
all the
low back.
lifting. Yeah.
Yeah, something about your low back was jumping out as I was saying that.
Yeah.
So I would put some like marjoram in a lotion and rub it on your low back, or some lemongrass in a lotion. Lemongrass directly on the skin will be a little bit like it cause you to get a little itchy. So put it in some massage oil or lotion and then just rub it all across the low back and even the upper part of the hips. And I think that will also help you sleep.
So you gave us, was it Tamaru?
Tamanu?
Is that okay? Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's super anti-inflammatory, and it really helps to move like inflammatory material out of the area and everything. If you have that, great, jump all over that.
That's a carrier oil, right?
Yeah, it's a carrier.
Okay. And then I put how many drops with that for the lotion?
I would put like 6-8 drops in your hand, and then put like a teaspoon of the oil in your hand, and then rub it together, and then just rub it on the spot.
Okay.
I would just, because that gives you like a bigger dose of essential oil in the area, and you can just do spot treatments to the spots that are needing help. I would just go through and do that.
Okay. And then I could do the same with the lavender and spikenard, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can be heavy-handed with a spikenard and lavender for your partner.
Okay.
If you even want to do a little bit more, I mean, there's been times where I would say I had some pretty bad insomnia, and I just took really big dosages of spikenard, and it knocked me out, got me back on my sleep pattern, and yeah, there you go.
And with him, part of it too, it's because what I'm doing is I'm decluttering and organizing my whole house
Mhm.
in preparation for a project that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I'm just cleaning out stuff and a lot of his stuff too. So I can tell that he's kind of stressed out. You know,
Makes sense why
having-
spikenard seems to be like a
Yeah.
thing for him, because that should help the stress as well.
yeah, like in a way, he's going through a grieving process.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, getting rid of his stuff. And sometimes I forgot to ask him and oops, sorry. Okay. And then on the spikenard, I remember we have spikenard extra, spikenard supreme. Does it matter which spikenard?
I would use regular spikenard for this. The spikenard extra, it has several citruses in it, and I mean they're relaxing and everything, but they're more for like unwinding certain kinds of spasms and tensions in the body. For this, I think just good old fashioned spikenard.
Okay. He has a lot of pain too, like in his legs and hips and joints and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Spikenard may help with that, but it's just like all his joints are achy.
I can't tell. I mean, he has well, you've seen him. He walks with a
Yeah.
cane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Let's
wobbles.
have you also have him inhale like lemongrass for a little bit as he's laying down, because that would also be a precursor to increasing and improving lymphatic function. And after he kind of gets a couple good nights sleep, maybe just doing a little bit of lymphatic work on him a little bit, whatever that would look like. We have those 3 classes that are out,
Yeah.
and I just jump on one of those and just start cleaning some things up.
Okay. I have to work on him.
Well, you could just have him just put some lotion on and call it good.
He likes the lotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, over there, a little bit over there. Yeah, to the left, to the left, to the right. So anyways, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
so
then my third question is, I have a room, an extra room that I'm in the process of turning into like a meditation / healing room. And I have a mirror on the north wall. And I was wondering if that would deter or hinder any prosperity energy coming in.
it's on the north wall. No. It might do some weird things to the energy body as you're meditating. But as far as the directions, it's like the whole wall is mirrors, or
Most of the wall.
most of the wall.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. It is going to be a weird fix. I mean, you could always throw some cloth over it, like a little curtain or something, but you could also do this little fix. If you go to the, God, where do you get these mirrors?
I was thinking if I can just take it out, but
If you can, I mean, because it would be a little bit disruptive to the energy body. I mean, not massive, but it would be harder for you to have expansion with it there. So you could cover it, or the mirrors that are like indented. You know what I mean? I
think they call it concave.
Concave, convex or concave. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like they're not bulging. They go in.
Okay.
Right. So take one, and about 3/4 of the way up the wall, you can mount it and just point it slightly down. but you're going to want to put it on your west wall. Because
West,
what you're doing is you're anchoring a bunch of east energy in the room
mhm.
by like, so you're putting it on the west wall so it's facing the east wall, and then you're anchoring it down so you're bouncing east energy down into the room, and then it kind of offsets the mirror.
Oh, okay.
So if you can't take it down or can't cover it up, do that.
Okay. And would I get those mirrors like in feng shui places or?
Yeah, feng
What
shui
I get?
place would probably be the easiest.
Okay.
Autos.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was thinking too. You can get them at auto stores. Like if you go into like what are those things called? Like,
Like, I don't.
you know what I'm talking about, where you go and
Yeah.
get, yeah, just go in there and they usually have them.
Okay. And it's indented.
Yes,
Mhm.
indented.
Indented.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want it on both sides.
Just on the west wall.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, did the west wall.
Yeah, just on
How
the
many
west.
do I put on there?
Just one should do it.
Right in the middle?
Yeah,
doesn't
middle
matter.
of the wall, like middle of the room, so middle of that wall, but about 3/4 of the way up, and then just point it down at a 45-degree angle.
3/4. Okay, 45-degree angle. Okay. Thank you so much, Greg.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Ralph, then Denise.
Hey, Ralph,
Hey, Greg. Good evening.
how are you?
Good. Three wise men. I've got some three wise men. It doesn't
Mhm.
pour for beans even when I shake it up. So I've been using little squeezy plastic pipette droppers to pull some.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, they're both very thick. Like sometimes if like you just got that not too long ago, right? So
Yeah.
it shouldn't have hardened up too much. Like sometimes after a couple years, they'll get real hard, but it's still, the oil's real thick, and so it comes out really slow, like really
Mhm.
slow.
Yeah.
And so what you could do as well is put a couple of drops of like vodka or something in it to thin it down a little bit, and then it will pour
Okay.
out a little bit easier. Like put a couple drops in, shake it up, and then it makes it easier just to come out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we were thinking alike because I got a bottle of vodka that I've been using to clean the dropper with.
Oh, there you go.
That seems to cut some of the buildup down. Also, the three wise men is cloudy. What am I doing that's it causing getting the cloudiness in there? Any idea?
What do you mean cloudy, like in the bottle itself?
Yeah, in the bottle itself.
Oh, it's because of their resins. Yeah, that's actually
okay.
quite normal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
they're real, like the frankincense, the myrrh, they're not super clear. They're
Mhm.
real thick, and if they sit for a really super long time, they kind of harden up.
Yeah.
If that does happen, like heat up a cup of water like you're doing tea, and then have the bottle closed, and then just sit it in the hot water for about a minute or two, and then pull it
Yeah.
out, and it warms everything up and makes it a lot more fluid. And so you could even do that right now, but it's just, it comes out slow no matter what. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. A week or so ago, you mentioned to somebody to take some Shazandra first and then these three wise men. What happens to what's the combination do? The combination of
What were we talking about? Do you remember?
somebody I think was looking for energy in the body. I know Shazandra is good for water use in the body.
Yeah, the Shazandra will help you sleep like deeper and better, and it helps to loosen up the fascia in the body because of the hydration, and then it's very good for deepening the sleep and things like that. The
Yeah.
three wise men, very good for jump starting the endocrine system. As we get older, the endocrine system kind of diminishes and function, and so it kind of jump starts everything to make everything start functioning better. It also
Okay.
is very anti-inflammatory, and it's very good for stimulating or I should say more like regulating the cerebral spinal fluid circulation. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of good benefits to using three wise men, like a lot. And
Okay.
then the Shazandra deepens sleep. It kind of increases energy level, but it's because you're sleeping better. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like something you take like, oh, if I take a few drops, I have a lot more energy.
Mhm.
It's just going to make the body stronger and feel better.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Denise, then Kennard.
Hey, Denise, how are you?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I can identify with the first few callers. I broke a tooth or a crown last night, so my tongue's so sore. I see a dentist tomorrow.
Okay.
But it feels like maybe like toxins have been kind of bothering me, maybe from that tooth. Who knows? I think I have a couple teeth that are unhappy. I just said, please, can you wait till May? Can you please wait till May? And last night we almost made it to May.
Yeah, you're not
But
that far away.
Yeah, they tried to do me a favor, and they kind of have been hinting for a while that they're needing attention. So that, and I'm not sleeping, and maybe it's my nervous system because of the toxins, but can you help on
Did
anything
the
like
sleep
that?
just happen after the tooth broke, or were you already having that issue a little bit?
No, I was having it way ahead. Yeah, just
Okay.
way ahead.
So when are you going to see the dentist? Like, how far away is that?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow. Okay. So what do you have? Do you have like some myrrh? Do you have some cloves? Do you have?
I have clove.
Yeah,
and
a couple
why
drops
one-
of clove, and like put a couple drops of clove in like some water. If you can even handle 3, maybe, like just because you have a couple of things that clove will do in this particular area. So
Okay.
you have the broken tooth. So, like you said, it's like toxins, or there could be like kind of a little bit of low grade infection, or like a deep abscess or something like that. Who knows? But you just want to minimize any sort of bacteria issue. And if there's pain, it will help reduce the pain. So if you put
good.
like, you could start with a drop, but if you can handle 2, do a little bit more, and you'll know how it feels in your mouth. And if it's too much, then like just add some water to it, stir it up, and then but like gargle, and like not even gargle, like you almost do like that. You know how they talk about oil pulling?
Yes.
You're doing it with water, but it's the same idea where you just start moving the water around a whole bunch, and you just want to kind of clean the mouth up as much as possible. And do you happen to have cypress?
I do. Yes.
Take like cypress and put like several drops on your finger, and then reach up and like rub it on the roof of your mouth. And the thing is like that will help stimulate lymphatic movement in the area, and it will just kind of help clean up any sort of, like you said, like if there's toxins or something in the area, it'll just help clean it up, like specifically to that area.
Okay, that sounds great. How about the sleep? Like I've even had like in my shoulders, the tops of my shoulders, just really sore and down to my wrist, and I can't help but wonder if I don't know if it's from my teeth or the lack of sleep or the fact that my refrigerator's broken and I've been carrying 16-pound bags of ice.
That's
for
what
3 weeks.
I'm going to go with that last choice. Yeah, that would hurt my shoulders. So I don't.
I mean,
So-
I'm just doing a lot, so I'm not sure where it's coming from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, you could do several choices here, like marjoram, petitgrain, marjoram, spikenard, vetiver, blends
I have
like
I
what
have
would
the
you
schizandra. I have that schizandra you were talking about.
that should help maybe with sleep. Like take a few drops and put that in water. But I would like topically for you to have something for the neck. If you have marjoram, I kind of like that. It's antispasmodic. It helps with strains and sprains. And it's very toning to the parasympathetic nervous system. And it is one of the things to use to initially treat things like insomnia. And so you could apply it topically and then inhale it, like lay down in bed and just start inhaling it until you feel yourself relax.
And this is marjoram.
Marjoram, if you have
Yeah.
marjoram.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do. I love a
Yeah,
marjoram.
yeah.
That's
I'd go heavy on the marjoram. Like sometimes, even though it's your neck and shoulders, I'd
Yeah.
still put some on the back. I'd put them on the back of your leg a little bit and even rub some on your feet. Just like let your body relax. And then it makes it easier for you to go into deeper states of sleep.
Thank you. Thanks.
And then if that
sounds
doesn't
good.
work, let us know. Like
Okay.
that combination should kind of knock you out, but if it doesn't, there's there's lots of reasons why the sleep can be a thing, and you just start kind of playing with a couple of things, and it can produce a result. Yeah, eventually you just got to find the right combo.
A sweet spot, so to
Yeah,
speak.
exactly.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
so
it.
welcome. Yeah.
And then go ahead, Kanara, then Sonia.
Hey, Kanara.
Hey, hi, good evening.
How are you?
So I am very new here, so I think my questions are a little bit basic, but I just wanted
There's
to
no basic
clarify.
question. It's just like, taking care of whatever's going on.
Yeah, so I saw this email that's talking about this new class, the mystical approach to chakras.
Yes.
And I was wondering what's the difference between this course and taking the courses on individual chakras? Should be
Yeah.
should
No,
one
that's
be
a great
before the
question.
other?
That's a great question. So the individual classes for the chakras, we went through and we went from like the holy name, which is the aspect of God within each of the chakras, and then the spirits associated with it, and the planetary influence and the angel, and then certain tendencies, right?
Mhm.
This is almost like doing the chakra class from the inside out. Like we're going to go through each of the chakras, and including there's a blend even for the back chakra. So there's like the front heart and then the back heart. And what we're going to do is we're going to almost, sometimes when you're just working the chakra, it goes in sometimes only so far. Like, if there's a lot of issue in a part of the anatomy or physiology, or like how the psyche and the physiology kind of intertwined. So as you go, we're going to explore more of the organs, and then we're basically going to increase or improve the function of that chakra, and we're going to minimize the negative impact that the mind can have on the energy body. So we're increasing the function of the chakra almost like from the inside out, if that makes sense. Instead of
Yeah.
going like, I'm going to put something on my heart, I'm going to, to stimulate the heart chakra, it stimulates and then it kind of goes right back. We're going to go into the organs and say like, okay, all these things that make the chakra shrink back down, let's treat that and then stimulate the heart so that it stays more activated.
A
So
more generic integrated approach this time than
Yes,
just
yes, that's a
focusing on
great
the-
way of saying it. That's
Yeah.
actually a better way of saying it than what I just said. Yes, that is a great way to say it. Yeah.
And then there's another question related to the course itself. Usually I see the size of the bottles like mentioned on the website, but this time I don't see
They're all going to be little 2 ml bottles. There's
Okay.
like, I think there's 22 or 24 little
Yeah, quite a
bottles
lot of
that come with
them.
it. Yeah, there's and some of them are like expensive blends. So like the class is $225. The kit is going to be like, the value is about 300-ish. It might even be a little bit more than 300. So you basically get the kit and then the class is kind of free.
Okay. And then the individual ones, if I wanted to order, I just go to the store and like get a bigger size in future. Or-
Yeah. That's exactly. And if for some reason, like sometimes we put them on, and if there's not a lot of interest, sometimes we don't, just because we have so many things on there. But
Mhm.
anytime there's something that you want that we don't have up, just let us know. I mean, I have things that aren't on the website, and I have different kinds of frankincenses that we don't put up, and I probably will, but I just use them in blends and things. But if you want something that we don't have up, or you're curious about something, just let us know. And
Okay.
if I have it, we'll do it. And if it's a blend, it's easy. I usually already have it made and ready to go, so that's even easier.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And the last question is, so I have been recently listening to Om Mani Padme and the
Good.
meditation a lot. And I was I just listened to it while doing other things, but I was wondering if I need to change my approach, or like, is there some additional meaning to it during the full
Well,
moon?
Om Mani Padme Hum, and it's interesting because I was just getting ready to tell you, like, there's a blend in that class that I don't think I've ever put it in anything, but it's marked like side head chakras, like, and it's like, you know how, like, if you've ever done meditation on the soul, you would put your hand over the ear like this. There's actually a little minor chakra about mid head right here. And it allows the mental permanent seed in the pineal to really expand. And so this class, I'm putting it in this kit because it impacts a lot of the centers in the head. And so I've used it personally, but I don't think I've ever felt like there was a reason in a particular class to use it. But when you use Om Mani Padme Hum, I mean, the meaning is that it's the jewel and the blossoming lotus. So the blossoming lotus is the crown. The jewel is there's a little tiny energetic seed in the middle of the pineal gland known as the blue pearl. And this is how you process information from the higher soul or the Buddha nature. And so that is the jewel that is in the blossoming lotus. So on one level, you could say it is activating to the blue pearl, and it's the equivalent to I am that I am, by chanting it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing with the Om Mani Padme Hum, it is how you bring light into form. It's how you bring light into your body, into the emotional patterns in your emotional body, and the thought patterns or your viewpoints, but also in the environment and even items. Like if you want to infuse an item with light, you do Om Mani Padme Hum with it. Then on an even deeper level, it is associated with the Buddha Kuan Yin, or in the Tibetan tradition, Avalokiteshvara, which is just the masculine version of Kuan Yin. And this aspect of Kuan Yin is associated with hearing and answering prayers, right? So like Avalokiteshvara means like one who hears, and then Ishvara is in the inner world, right? So the idea is, even by chanting that mantra over and over again, you're getting the attention of the great spiritual elder that is in charge of hearing and answering prayers. So it makes your prayers, like you could say, it makes you more conductive, so that the prayer gets like heard and potentially concretizes at a much faster rate, right? So you could say, like, sometimes the slang way of saying that is it's the wish fulfilling mantra. Like if you chant that mantra over and over again and you have a wish, as long as there's the karma for it to happen, like that being hears and answers the prayer, and eventually that prayer physicalizes. So it's also very cleansing. It's very soothing.
It's very soothing.
It's very soothing.
The
It's
entire
very,
room
very
feels very
soothing.
calm then.
Yeah.
But I never thought of all these, I never knew of all these other meanings. So thank you so much for explaining.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Those are all my questions. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Those were great questions, by the way. Those weren't basic questions. Those were great questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
And then go ahead, Sonia, then
Hey,
Peggy.
Sonia.
Did you say an oil with what you just said to that lady?
Yes, what oil?
Or what word?
Blue pearl.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was talking about in the kit coming up, there's going to be a side head oil in the kit that will help facilitate a greater activation of that. It will be in the kit for the chakra class.
For the next class repertory,
No, the one after that.
mystical aspects of the shop.
Yes, right.
Okay. Okay. My hearing is still out. I got a little more back. I unwind it and it wants to go up and forward. And so finally I wasn't getting there. So I was pushing it, and that's when I got a little more hearing. I think there's some cartilage or something that is
Something's up. Yeah.
misplaced or something. And the
Yeah.
inside of my ear is pushed outward.
And the doctor didn't see any sort of physical damage. Like when they look in your ear, they don't see anything that. They
Well,
don't
I've
see
had for 3 days, and if I put the oil with helichrysum, if I turn it clockwise, it's okay. If it's counterclockwise, it's painful. So I bled for 3 days, and then I had clear plasma for several days, and then some scab
Yeah.
came out. But and it's at the bottom of my ear canal. That was it's like something got, there's some little bones in there that have to do with healing, but then there's cartilage. If it got torn or pushed, it could put an unusual stretch on the eardrum, I think. But I don't know. And so I went to see him again, and he didn't even look at it. So he gave me an appointment for some ear institute. So I don't know.
Let me just sit with it for a minute. Just let me look for a sec. Let me just see what I can see. Okay, I mean, it's a sensitive area, so it's hard to put like oils in this area. So we have like a bit of a restriction. So I'm gonna have you do a little pH on the area, pranic healing, and take your fingers like so, like or if you have a crystal, you could use a crystal, but take your fingers like so, and in that area, do greenish violet, greenish yellow. Do greenish yellow first, greenish violet second. The idea,
out.
What's that?
The energy out, right?
No, you're putting energy in. Just for about maybe 60 seconds. You're not going to do it for very long, but the idea is that it will be a little bit cleansing, but it's that combination is re-educating to the nerves in the area. That part of that ear is very depleted. It's very, very depleted, which means just like what you suspect, there's some sort of injury. But sometimes what happens is there could be a blow to something, and then the nerves get kind of scrambled a little bit, and then they just don't ever fire right after that. And so, the rate of healing in the area is slower. Everything kind of slows down. I mean, you're doing all the right things and it's still not jumping back. And so let's try to jumpstart that part of the nervous system. It's not even the nervous system. It's the nerves in that area. They just don't look, they look asleep. Like when you sit on your foot,
Yeah.
your foot goes to sleep, they look kind of like that.
Well, there's a sound like snow, like interference, like the old TVs used to have that.
Yeah.
No, at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But there was that sound.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I can hear my blood going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. But my hearing is not. I'm not.
And then do some things, like we were just talking with Marianne about the aloes. Do the aloes on your Ming Men. Like you could rub some on or just inhale it on the Ming Men and clean that up. A lot of times when you hear that pulsing in your ears, the Ming Men's overactivated.
Okay.
Yeah, do those and let's see how that treats you.
Okay, and then my other doctor, he's a chiropractic, but he does network and chiropractic, and
Yeah,
it's
I'm familiar.
similar to has similarity to osteopathy.
Mhm.
He's good with neural stuff. And so he said that when the ear thing happened, that it also affected the my vertebrae in my neck and my other ear. And he's also, so last week when I saw him, he said he did an x-ray and he did this electromagnetic, and he explained, you know, the electromagnetic shows mild, moderate, severe, and then super severe, and that area is in sympathetic mode.
Mhm.
And so it's less than what it was 2 years ago, but like a sympathetic is in C1, 2, 4, 6, 1, 2.
So can you just like either apply some lemongrass to your neck, like in a lotion, or inhale it and just inhale with your awareness on that area?
Let's see. And it's also T1, 2, I think 5 and 7. And he said my sympathetic nervous system won't shut off until those are all straightened out. And they're all torqued, but different directions. But one, the middle, C3 is sublux forward, and like T6, 7 is like it's jets out to the left. So I don't know, both the osteopath and
Try doing the lemongrass up and down the spine. Just like inhale and just explore your spine up and down.
and so that will help them realign, or what?
Well, it's not necessarily going to help them realign, but it will help reduce the sympathetic stimulation. And if that reduces, it also helps them to be more easily adjusted.
Yeah. I've used a bunch of bottles of margarine and then one of let's see. There's one that's for spasm and then one for Glory of Lebanon.
Mhm.
And like nothing seems to happen with them. And
Yeah. Do the thing on the Ming Men. I think that the thing with the Ming Men will also help. So do the thing with the Ming Men, do the thing with the ear, do the lemongrass up and down the spine, and let's see what happens with that.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Keep us posted.
Okay.
And then go ahead, Peggy, and then we do have some in chat as well.
Okay. Hey, Miss
Okay.
Peggy.
Hi, hello.
Hey.
You know, I'm loving my 3 wise men every morning. It seems to jumpstart the adrenals and the endocrine system. And I had a bottle that I got really low in what I've purchased recently, which has a blue label. This bottle that I had in one of my kits has a yellow gold label on it. So I thought, oh, I'll use that. And I appreciate the information that you gave Ralph, because I can put a drop or two of the vodka in it, because
Yeah,
it is
heat
dark
it
yellow
up
and
first.
thick.
Like
I'm sorry.
heat it up first. Like make a cup of tea, don't put it in with the tea, but
Right.
like put it in a cup of hot water. And then once it kind of liquefies a little bit more, you can add just a couple of drops of vodka in it, and then you should be good to go. But that's
Well-
very common for anything that's a resin.
Okay.
Like even benzoin. I don't get benzoin in a bottle. I mean, the last time I bought benzoin, they sent me a slab of just a resin that I had to heat and then make to liquefy. And then, so some of these things, that's their nature. And
Yeah.
they
I
thicken
didn't
up
know
a bit.
if maybe it was a little, it's very dark, where what I purchased recently is almost clear in comparison, but I will do the information that you shared with Ralph. And so that pretty much answers my question.
The myrrh will darken like as it hardens.
Yeah, and it's pretty, it's much stronger, I think. It seems to be, or so but I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
The
And
the label thing is just we changed how we labeled things.
Ah.
That's all, yeah, that's all it is.
I thought maybe it was because it was in a
Nah.
kit or something,
Nah,
but
it's just an in-house way of that we track what things are and how we do them and stuff. It's just.
and I have to tell you, this is Sazandra at night. It really increases the deep sleep, and I love
Oh,
it.
good.
So I have to share in reference to my, I've been working with you, I've been doing the clove for the thyroid. Well,
Mhm.
my numbers haven't changed even after 3 months of doing everything I can do to not take in iodine and to block the iodine with every meal by eating cabbage and broccoli. I gained 5 pounds in 3 months, which I'm not real happy about, to be honest with you. But my numbers, none of my numbers have shifted. And so
I would like keep taking the clove, and you could even increase the dosage by maybe a drop or two. But I would actually lean more towards increasing the 3 wise men. Like how
I
much
do
are you
about
taking? of
5
that?
drops every morning. Sometimes, an extra one will slip out. That's the first thing I do in the morning is my 3 wise men.
Let's have you do that twice a day. Like
Oh,
one in
okay.
the morning, one in the evening.
Okay, I'm game.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
So many levels for everything, you guys. Thank you.
And then some of the questions in chat as well. And if you didn't join us when we first started, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to type in, we are happy to take any of your questions. Question, would Arthur Care help with a cyst in the palm? I'm guessing that's a different kind of deposit.
Yeah, that's cyst. Like, do we know what it's like? Just like on one of the tendons in the palm, or is it like a little fatty cyst, or do we know?
Hey there, Greg, it's Barbara.
Hey,
This is my mom, and I'm not sure if it's on a tendon. It could be, it's really in the middle of her palm, and it looks, maybe it's fluid filled, at least in part. I mean, it moves a little when she presses on it. I've only seen it via Zoom.
yeah, that sounds like a fatty cyst. You can try Arthrocare. I'm not sure that it's gonna help, but if something was gonna help for that one, I would say yeah. Like if it was a little bit more like hard and a little bit deeper, like like a fatty cyst, you can kind of get on it and like push it around. Like you said, it's fluid and you can kind of push it and it kind of moves back. Where like if it's deeper on a tendon or something, or there's like a little knot in the tendon, you push on it and it doesn't like move very much. It doesn't, it doesn't seem as fluid filled. Sometimes when people get tendon like knots on the palm, I have them use marjoram and just like put it on and like really rub in that area. But a fatty cyst, they're just these little like pockets of fluid, and sometimes it's around some material, and you can try breaking it down with Arthrocare. Because it's really probably more the lovage than anything. But all the things in there are for breaking down or like moving fluid. And the thing that's difficult is that it's a little bit encapsulated. And so I have had a few disappear with that, but I've also had a bunch not. And so you can start trying, but I'm not sure that it'll work or not. I mean, I would try, but it may work, it may not.
Okay, and the application is,
I would just do it neat. I would put like a drop or two and then just like rub it in like that and, let that be, but every day. Like I would do it every day for a little bit.
once a day?
Yeah, probably once a day is enough. If she feels up to doing it more than once a day, she could, but at least once a day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, like if she wanted to do 3 times a day or 4 times a day, I mean, you really couldn't overdo it. It's just be consistent with it.
Okay, thank you.
And go ahead, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Hi, guys. My sister Joanne came and joined us today.
Oh, great.
Yes, she says Joanne, Kathy's sister on her.
That's good.
Yeah. So if she wants to say anything, all she has to do is raise her hand, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Raise her hand, unmute herself. Yep. Type in
Okay.
whatever she needs. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Hey, Joanne, sister.
And just type in if you need any help with any of that.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep going through the chats. Otherwise, would Taggets be good for tight bunions as well?
Yeah. Like, so the thing with bunions, like, it's a little bit of a loaded thing, right? So first you want to address the bunion itself. And so for people who don't know, it's like the big toe knuckle, like the big toe is kind of moved off to the side, and then this kind of bulges out a little bit, right? And so Taggets is incredibly good for that. It reduces the inflammation. A lot of times it will take a lot of the pain out. And you could say it increases flexibility a little bit, but it usually is the way to calm down the bunion, right? Then from there, you know, if the toes already moved substantially, like sometimes you can get these little spacers that will help. You get them on Amazon, and they're just like toe spacers. And I like the one, like sometimes you just put them between the first and the second toe, but there's one that goes all the way across the foot. And you only wear it for about an hour or so. Like I would put the Taggets on and then put the little spacers on to just kind of spread the toes. And that will kind of start moving the toe back to proper alignment. Whenever you look at a bunion, there's usually one of three reasons why the bunion happened, right? So one is you look at the kind of shoes that you're wearing, and if they're real narrow toe box, what happens is you're kind of cramming your toes in there, and it literally kind of pushes the toe in that direction. Now, if the bunion's there, it's already been happening. So you just want to make sure your shoes have a bigger, more open toe box, or at least that they're more comfortable that way. Second is the lack of flexibility in the ankle. Like if the ankle isn't really flexible enough, it kind of throws off like how you walk, and you start kind of pushing off your foot in an abnormal way, and that actually can cause the bunion or aggravate the bunion. And so with that, you could use something like marjoram. You could also use Kunzea, like Kunzea by itself, or you can use Chocrol root cleanser. And the reason Chocrol root cleanser and Kunzea is Kunzea will help increase flexibility, especially in arthritic conditions. And Chocrol root cleanser does so as well. And Chocrol root cleanser, we've actually had a physical therapist like measure somebody's flexibility, put on Chocrol root cleanser, and then have them do the flexibility again. And she said it's usually about a 20 to 30% increase just with the application. And, you know, you want to keep working it, but I would put it on the ankle, like all around the ankle, but especially on the front side, and then up the shin, and then on the back of the calf. Like, so you're basically going to treat from the knee down to the ankle with Chocrol root cleanser. Like you could use Kunzea, but honestly, I would probably swing for Chocrol root cleanser. You know, because Chocrol root cleanser, you know, it has mugwort and artemisia in it. You know, it has other things in it as well. It helps to open up the energetic channels to that area, so it could potentially help that. The other thing that can potentially happen with a bunion is you're starting, not you, I'm just saying the person is starting to have potentially like a fallen arch, and your foot actually has 3 arches, right? But what happens is the arch starts to fall, and it changes the dynamic in the foot. And a lot of times you'll notice, because you become a little bit more flat-footed and your shoes don't fit quite as well. So going back to the first thing, it could be the combination of the way the shoe fits and then the fallen arch, because the foot actually kind of lengthens out a little bit. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to firm up that tissue. And, you know, taggets can be put on it. Actually, what I use sometimes is black pepper. Like I rub black pepper on the foot, and it can help. And then you do this little exercise where you kind of curl your foot back, like you're bringing your toes to your knee, and then you spread out your toes, and you just keep spreading them out as long as you can, and like bringing them back to your knee as well. So you're bringing your foot back, and you're opening up your toes, and you're trying to arch your toes back. And, you know, you do it for about 15, 20 seconds, and then let the foot relax. And then you bring the foot back, stretch out the toes, and then curl them back as far as you can. And do several cycles of that. And if it's a fallen arch, and do that daily, and that will actually firm up the arch, especially combined with a little bit of pepper on the arch. And that will also minimize the issue with the bunion. Like, it will keep it from getting irritated or inflamed again. So taggets in the beginning to disinflame and take some of the pain out, soften it up, and then address whatever the issue you think it is. If it's the shoes with bigger toe boxes, or sandals or something like that. If it's flexibility in the ankle, chakra root cleanser from the ankle up. And then if it's the fallen arch, black pepper on the bottom, open up the toes, bend them back, you know, spread them out and bend them back. Like, really spread them out as much as you can, and then bend them back. So, yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Greg.
You're so
Thanks.
welcome.
So I think I was maybe born with this.
It's
and
very
then
common.
it
There's,
aggravated
yeah.
because I took ballet.
Yeah. Oh, if you did ballet,
Yeah.
it was ballet. Like it was back in the day. Yeah, that's very common in certain sports, to be more predisposed to that. But it's because of the kind of shoes and the things that you do with the toes. Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. And so if you go through,
It just started hurting because I went back to doing reformer Pilates, and I notice it when I'm on my toes.
yeah, put the taggets on the area, and mix it in a massage oil or lotion, and just rub it on there every day for a little bit. It usually will take it out. There's another issue that more than half the population has, and it's referred to as Morton foot structure. And what happens is the big toe knuckle is farther back than anatomically where it's supposed to be. And so the tendency is your foot develops calluses in these very specific spots. Like I think there's 4 spots, and your weight bearing joint shifts from the big toe to the like kind of second, and between the second and third. And you can kind of tell, because if you go and even touch like the ball of your foot between like the first toe, the big toe, and like the second toe, or sometimes the second toe ish, there's like this long kind of thin callus. It's because of that foot structure. I mean, you can look at the foot and see it if you evaluated it, but most people don't like look at the foot that way. So you can actually look at it from a series of calluses, and that also makes you more predisposed to bunions. And so I would say more people have Morton foot structure, at least on one of the feet, than don't. Like it, I mean, it's that common. It is so common, but it's not really like a medical issue. Like in the old days, we would treat it with like orthotics, where we had either take an orthotic and have the orthotic made, and then where the big toe is, we'd cut the orthotic out so that the big toe had to drop into that spot, or you put a little like pad under the first big toe to make it more like weight bearing. But it's like a good idea in the beginning, but it's like hard to like always be shifting them from shoe to shoe. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I never found that it was a great long-term thing. Like if it was,
Right.
somebody was in crisis, it like kind of helped, but after that, because like I said, more people have it than don't. So I have it. So I was playing it with mine, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. It was awesome for like a week. And then after that, I was like, oh, these orthotics are making me nuts. And
Right. Right.
so, you just kind of treat it. There's really not a whole lot you can do because it's structural, but you can minimize the effects that it has. And that tag, just kind of hits all the spots.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And another question.
Mhm.
I've been using marjoram body tonic that I had from one of the courses. It's time to order more.
Mhm.
What's the difference between marjoram body tonic and marjoram mag body tonic? The site has marjoram mag body tonic listed.
Oh, we just wrote it different. Is it one's an ointment or one's a?
No, both are body.
Yeah, it just got written different. It's the exact same thing. Like, I do make a marjoram ointment sometimes. I don't make it very often. It's not ordered very often, but it has just a little bit of magnesium in it. But the marjoram body tonic has a little bit of ionic magnesium in it. So it's the same thing. It's sometimes when I'm firing them off and labeling them, I can't remember what I called it. And so sometimes I write down like a partial name or something like that. And, our person doesn't catch it, but it's the same exact thing. Yeah.
Would you ask Greg if bentonite clay orally would help pull toxins from teeth and gum?
So orally meaning ingesting it or just like mouth pulling?
Like ingesting it, how you'll shake it up and keep it in the refrigerator, and sometimes it pulls toxins out of your system.
Mhm.
Would that be helpful? I mean, if I do the clove and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be helpful like if you ingested it, but if you put it in the mouth,
Possibly.
I mean,
Okay.
I've never used it with that application. I'm a little curious right now. Like I'm like,
I know.
that could be a thing. I'm not sure. Like, I kind of like the idea.
I know well, I have it in a powder form. I just am trying to decide if I have to make myself go to the store yet again and get it in the liquid.
No, I would just take a little pinch and, like with the little thing that you're going to do the mouthwash or the mouth pulling with.
Yeah.
Take just a little pinch and put it in there and just see what it does. And then just do, still do all the same things, but just put a little pinch of that in there and
kind of do the pull, like you said.
Yeah.
And swish it around.
I kind of love that idea.
Thank you. All right. And it saves me a trip to the store. Thank you so much.
Because all the liquid is just the powder in a liquid and then it's shaken up. So you're just making your own version of it.
With
Yeah.
that clove.
The other thing that I always like doing with stuff like this, I was going with this really hard there for a while, was I would add charcoal to things. And I mean, charcoal is such a great detoxifier. But if you just have some, I would just try the bentonite stuff.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, boy, let me know how that goes. I'm kind of curious. I have some bentonite back there myself. I'm like, experiment tonight. Like, I kind of like this idea.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And I got some charcoal back there. I might have to make a little cocktail. A little.
Back to the class, is that class okay for a first timer?
Yeah, it should be good for a first timer. It's not going to be, some of the classes, especially the ones that are really esoteric and there's a lot of patterns that we would do, energy center patterns. Sometimes those can be a little bit hard on somebody that hasn't done some of the processes before, but this we're not really going to be doing patterns. We're going to be exploring different parts of the physiology, and it's going to be kind of like a very soft, gentle class. So be it a new person or somebody who's been doing a bunch of things, it's going to be addressing things that are very different than things we've done in the past. You know, we've used some of the blends for the chakras and a few of the classes, but we haven't used them quite how we're going to be using them. And so be it a new person or an old timer, we should be a good class. Yeah, we're very excited about it. Like, you know, there's a couple things like the back head. I don't think we've had in anything, the side head. There's a few things in there that we haven't really put in a class before. And so we are going to use some of the oils like this are going to be integrated in some things in the master healing techniques. That, you know, is a free thing that we're doing where we're pulling things from different classes and making a process based on things from different classes. And even if you haven't had it, if you have the oils, you can pull it off. And so I would say it would be a good thing to have on hand because there's a bunch of stuff coming down the pike of free things that we'll be posting on the master healing technique. Yeah.
On that, this Wednesday is free practice now. Are there any needed oils for this one? Right?
You know, what we're probably going to use on Wednesday is hyssop. We'll use hyssop to go through, and we're going to talk about like how to use it in particular ways. And if you don't have hyssop, we'll have some substitutes for you. In the future, when there's going to be some a little bit more technical things, I'll give you guys a heads up like a week or two ahead of time to pull that off. But at first, we're just going to explore some things that are like bread and butter oils that we all you know have or have been exposed to, and I want to make it as user friendly as possible and just show how many different ways you can use some things, but like the thing we're going to do tomorrow night has a lot of different applications, and we kind of have touched on it in a few classes, but we're going to do something where it's just going to be the hyssop and it's just going to be this process. And instead of going through a bunch of oil processes, we're going to do something else to kind of bring things forward and then flush it out with the hyssop. So yeah, so for the next few weeks, it'll be just things that are probably already in your toolbox, but later I'll be posting things. And the idea would even be, you know, like in the newsletter, like last night, there was a very involved process that's just like kind of a single segment that we presented that pulls from different classes. And so those more complicated things, I might just present like in the newsletter or in like an email, or, you know, eventually it's going to turn into a little ongoing booklet. But the things that we do on Wednesday night are going to be exploring some of the different aspects. And these are things that usually produce like they're real, like a bread and butter thing to produce healing in the body or in the psyche or something spiritual or all of the above. But they will augment a lot of the other healing practices. Like, so like say you go, okay, I have a bad shoulder or a bad back or something like that. You would do the things that you know, and then you could do a couple things that would augment the healing process in that particular thing. But maybe it's only something that takes you 10 or 15 minutes. We'll explore it in the evening, but then when you do it on a daily basis or weekly basis, it might just be a little 10-minute thing that you do. So we'll educate and have you experience it. And then from there, you can augment the different things that you're doing.
Great questions tonight, guys. It's time for the practice session. Unless you guys have more questions, feel free to type in the chat or raise your hand, but I think go ahead. Trey.
Well, there seems to be, you know, even like some of the emails that we have, there seems to be a lot of sleep issues like recently. So let's again, there's different reasons and different mechanisms that have to be in play to relax the body. And so, I want to educate a little bit right now, but also I want to help you try to get a good night's sleep tonight. So let's do this. Let's have you break out something like marjoram or lavender, spikenard, even rue, vetiver. Let's start with those. And if you don't have one of those, we'll come up with something else, but let's just see if you have one of those. If you don't, there's other things that can be used. Tarragon, lemongrass, Litsea, cubeba. Okay, so let's do this. Feel your body. Feel the tension in your body. Go to your back throat, which is the middle of the back of your neck. And whatever oil you choose, start taking long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. Okay. You're on the back of your throat. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. And you're still taking some long, slow, deep breaths. And I don't know that this is so much a technique. It's more of, let's say, an exploration, like an experiment. And sometimes, here's the thing. So sometimes, when we have like a particular issue or something, it's like, oh, if I do this, if I use this oil, if I use this protocol, it knocks it out. But sometimes we want to kind of treat something, but then also like evaluate it, like where are my weak spots in this area? Where am I having an issue? Where am I having a problem? And so we're going to kind of just do this little exploration, right? And when you hit something where, oh man, it really knocks you out, that's the thing that you're going to go through and do at night when you're laying down to try to go to sleep. So right now you're hitting the back throat, and this kind of cleans up the energy body. It doesn't do it as deep as like some of the other things we do, but it's just a quick way to just flush things out of the energy body, and it does some things to the unconscious, right? So now let's have you close your left nostril and just inhale on the right nostril. So you're going to hold it up like so. And then Yeah, I just did that one, like 2 breaths on each nostril, and I'm already starting to yawn. How funny is that? Apparently I'm going to sleep soon. So you're doing the right nostril. Just give yourself a moment. See how that treated you. And then close the right nostril and just inhale on the left nostril. Oh, somebody asked what oil that I used. I used Blue Lotus. You know, I wrote that thing last night for the newsletter for the circadian rhythms. And, you know, there's this theory that if you regulate the circadian rhythms a bit, it actually will change some of the things happening in your nervous system and in some of the body. And so, you know, it's out of the notes that's going to be on the class coming up in the weekend, and from the endocrine part of the class. You know, there's a respiratory day and then an endocrine day. And as I was pulling it up and getting it ready for last night, I was like, I need to pull out that Lotus and like do a little bit on myself. And I found it really interesting. I only did it for like 5 minutes last night, but usually about, this is probably too much information, but usually about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, every night I get up and go pee. And I did, and I mean, it's happened for years. And I did that last night, and I didn't get up and go pee. Like, I got up in the morning and, you know, I didn't really go to the bathroom until I was up and moving around. And then it dawned on me, I was like, so I think that even the urgency to like urinate, or the need to empty out the bladder, especially like you're sleeping, you shouldn't have to have that happen, but you know, stress or, you know, whatever, it calmed that right down. And I'll see what it does long term, but it makes sense with what we know about circadian rhythms. So yeah, and if you want to read about it, it's actually in the newsletter from last night. Okay, so from there, just let that all go. You've done both nostrils. Explore your jaws, like not just the chakra. Explore, like, where do you have tension in your jaws? Like, where is there tension? Wherever you feel the greatest tension in your jaws, because here's the theory. This is from an energetic point of view. There's a physiological background behind this, but let's just talk from the energetic point of view. If the jaws are tight, like if they're clenching, you know, or there's a lot of tension there, it overactivates your solar plexus, front and back, which is tied to lower emotions and tension in the body. It overactivates the Mingmen, which is that center opposite your navel on the low back, tied directly to the adrenals. And it overactivates the forehead, which is starting to become like hypersensitive to the things in your environment, right? So, you know, that idea of like when you're around somebody and you're like, oh, when I'm around them, I'm walking on eggshells. A lot of times that it could be something emotionally internally, but a lot of times that is the jaw is just super wound up. And so if we start taking some of the tension out of the jaw, it allows the adrenals to relax. It allows the lower emotions to calm down. It allows the energy body to calm down. It reduces the oversensitivity, and it allows your body to relax. If the forehead is big, like in a negative way, the sensitivity is going to keep you kind of like in an agitated state, because you're always like, what's that noise? What's going on? The next, the other shoe's going to drop. Something's going to happen. I can't put my guard down. It's all that kind of stuff. So, you start with unwinding the jaw, like unwind the jaw. And if you feel there's some tension, like you can kind of open your mouth and then just like you almost do like zigzags, but as you slowly open and close your mouth, just don't push it, don't strain it, don't overstretch it. You're just kind of stretching it out. Yeah. Like so, open the mouth slowly while you're zigzagging, and then close the mouth slowly as you zigzag. And then again, inhale. Like don't push it, don't make your jaw sore, don't like go to super hard extremes. You're just, how like you just wiggle your fingers, you're wiggling your jaw. How's that feel on you? Yeah, Samantha's saying like, like it's not both jaws, it's like one side of her jaw, but you have an injury from way back when in that area, right? Yeah, she like bumped into something many years ago, and it hit her head and her neck and kind of twisted things, and so this one side of her jaw gets wound up, and so it's a way to kind of unwind that injury spot.
It's hard to control it. It's like,
Right. Yeah. So Samantha's saying like even trying to do the zigzag, it can be a little bit hard to control, especially when there's a lot of tension there. Like you're not getting full extension or clenching and extension. You're not getting full range of motion there because it's already like kind of tight. So just slowly, don't force it. Don't try to stretch it out. Just keep inhaling on that area. And just from time to time, just gently, like you're wiggling your fingers, move your jaw side to side. And notice she just yawned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, see, like for Samantha, she's doing that. And as her jaw's unwinding, she's yawned about 5 times in 30 seconds. Like, so there is a source that is keeping you up at night, like right there, boom. It might not be keeping you up, but it's not allowing you to go as deep as possible and is a little bit stimulating to the sympathetic part of the nervous system. So like you'll notice that when you get stressed out, your jaws kind of tense up, so you're unwinding some of the sympathetic nervous system activity by going through and doing this. And I think we're at yawn number 9 right now with what she's doing. Oh. Okay, and then just give yourself a moment and just put the bottle down and just check in with yourself. Like how did that make you feel? Between the back throat, the things with the nostrils and the jaws, how is that making you feel? Is that making you relax? Did you yawn? Are you feeling nothing? Just what's happening. So we're treating, but really more than that, we're exploring, right? Like sometimes we have answers for things, and sometimes you just got to start treating things and then go, what seems to produce a result? So one of the other areas that I'd like us to explore is you're using the same oils, but let's go to your mid-back area, your back solar plexus. Your back solar plexus really is the thing that will dictate how much or how less tension you have in your body. So if there's a lot of tension in your body, back solar plexus. If there's not very much tension in your body, it means the back solar plexus is in a good place, right? So begin inhaling and your awareness is in the mid back. So below the shoulder blades, mid back area. Yeah, okay, so on the last pattern, somebody said doing the jaw work opened up the sinuses. That happens sometimes, yeah. Like the jaws and the roof of the mouth will impact the sinuses more than we realize. You know, the issue is that even some of the neck muscles will impact the sinus health. And so the more you just kind of unwind it, if that's what happened for you, like I would do that every day, like maybe in the evening, or in the evening is good because you're going to start relaxing. Like if you do it in the beginning, you know, you might lose your morning, right? Like, you know, you start relaxing and then you go, I'm just going to take a little nap. I know I just got up, but it's nap time. Yeah, that sounds like the beginning of a good day, but if it opened up your sinuses, do that a little bit. A lot of sinus stuff is physiological stress. You know, your body is in a stress state. That doesn't mean emotions, that doesn't mean your mind. Your body is just has some sympathetic nervous system activity, which is just an agitated fight, flight, or activity mode that is running even when you're sleeping. And so if you found something that like, oh, it produced that result, keep doing it until it really resolves.
Can you demonstrate that jaw again?
Yeah, so you're basically going to, somebody's asking me to demonstrate the jaw thing again. So you slowly open your mouth like so, and then slowly close it. But as you do it, you just gently zigzag your lower jaw from side to side. So you go. There's all kinds of jaw exercises that 30 years ago, it's how we treated TMJ. But, you know, dentists have gotten really good at treating TMJ, so you never hear about TMJ anymore. But back in the day, there was a period of time where for probably about a year, it's all I treated was just people with jaw issues. But these days, you don't really hear about it too much. I remember saying it to somebody who was a teacher in a different modality, and they go, what's TMJ? Like, that's how far it's gone. Like, nobody even knows about it anymore. And so it's just a way to unwind the jaw. So you're on the mid back. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. And in the low back area, not necessarily on the spine, but like if you can kind of feel the muscles around the spine, just kind of inhale into like tight areas that you feel around your spine. This is going to hit what you call the psoas, and your psoas is you know how your diaphragm gets wound up when you're stressed out, or which is at the bottom of the rib cage. The psoas is the lower version of that in the low back and hips. And so if you can just slowly unwind the psoas. The psoas will cause urinary tract issues, can cause issues in the digestive tract when it's really wound up and tight. It can cause issues in women's menstrual cycles, and even like pain down into the testicles of men. It can impact your rate of urination and how much you eliminate and how often you have to go to the bathroom. There's all kinds of things that it does. Yeah. Yeah. We might be losing Samantha. Deep inhaling in and around the spine, not the spine itself, the tissue around the spine. Now go down the back of the legs, like from the very top of the leg, like where it hits the butt cheek, all the way down to the back of the knee. Just explore the back of your legs, not the whole leg, just the backs. And then go along your shin, down the front of your leg, more on the outside of the bone, but down the front. Mhm, mhm. Notice how your body's feeling as you unwind these things. Like sometimes the thing that feels like emotional stress and mental stress is just like tension in the body. And when we do the chakra class, we're not going to be going, oh, that's, the back heart is the lungs. We'll do that. But there's certain areas in the body for every center that you could say the stress of the body impacts the function of the chakra. And we're going to be exploring these things. So it's a little bit of going down this vein of, the organs that the chakra impacts, but also like the structural stresses that can inhibit the function of a chakra. And it's going to be a bit more involved than what we're doing, but it's just unwinding the body. Unwind the body, it impacts the emotions, the mind, the way the energy moves, but most importantly, the spiritual connection. So this is a little bit of a weird one. You wouldn't think of this. Your heel, like not just the bottom, but like the whole heel. Like if you took your like if this was your heel and you went like this, like the bottom, the sides, up the back, like just that whole heel area. For me, this feels amazing. How's that feel for you? So like the heel will cause substantial tension in your low back, like your hips, your SI joints, your low back. It can throw things off in the spine. And I had a couple of cases like many years ago where dysfunctions in the neck actually unwound it from the heel. Not even the whole foot, just the heel. Yeah. Samantha said she can feel her spine unwinding. And so what you're doing is you're tapping into the fascia. Like the fascia is not just like, oh, the fascia in your foot is connected to the fascia in your lower leg. And your fascia is like if you took a big giant paper towel and you compressed it and then you kept weaving it into like the shape of a body. The fascia in your head around your brain is connected all the way through to the fascia of your feet. So even sometimes releasing stress or trauma or something, you could be hitting an area that's not even closely related to what you think you're treating, but because the body has had to compensate structurally, you are holding it in weird areas that are being impacted by gravity. So you could say the chakra class will improve how your energy body interacts with the energy of the earth, the energy of the environment, but a lot of the earth. Keep working those heels. Like if you go back and look at your jaw.
It's way looser.
So just by doing the heel. So I feel like because I'm watching Samantha's face. Samantha's face got way more relaxed. Now when it did a bit when we did the jaw, but when we did the heel, like her face just went. Weird that she made that same noise. That's the sound of stress leaving your body. Cracking myself up now. Hell, it's the end of the day. Yeah. So another place where you hold tension and you don't really think about it is the shoulder blades themselves. The muscle on top of the shoulder blade. So if you just put your tension and awareness on the shoulder blade and just take some long, slow, deep breaths. Really? I mean, it's possible. Might be something coming out. I used to do this. Somebody said their jaw got tighter. Could be something coming out. I used to do this thing where, you know, when I was teaching energy classes, I'd have people scan the solar plexus and trauma, and there would be in there, and I would bring a golf ball, and I'd put the golf ball on the ground, and I'd have the person roll the golf ball on the arch of their foot. And then I'd have everybody scan the solar plexus. I was like, scan for trauma. All kinds of trauma came out. You know, it's not that you're reliving it, but the trauma is being held in the tissue. And so when you unwind these things start popping out. It's usually very soothing, but even though your jaw tightened up, it should still be soothing. It's just you're probably feeling a shift or a change. If you're feeling a shift and a change and it's feeling weird, go to the low back opposite the navel, the Mingmen. That helps your body shift. How's that treating you? Yeah. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing in the chakra class. I mean, that wasn't my intention tonight, but as we're doing it, like somebody asked about the chakra class, it's going to be an unwinding of the body as it impacts the chakra. And by doing this, it improves chakra function. It's like doing it almost opposite of the way that we normally do. But even this improves the way the energy body functions. So even just using your marjoram or your lavender or whatever it was should help. But we gotta go and go to the prayer blessing for Astara. We're posting the link if you would like to join us. If not, hopefully you can join us tomorrow night. And this weekend is a free weekend. Lots of lecture. You don't have to be prepped with oils or anything. It's just, we're going to talk about respiratory function. And this one, I've really written out a bunch of stuff there. So, I mean, it's more information than what we usually give. So lots of things to read. So hopefully you can join us. So either tomorrow night or the weekend. I hope to see you soon. Take care.